Welcome to Ranger Dave Homestead, and today we're going to do a review and an unboxing of the Coleman 120 watt crystalline solar panel kit with stand, including charge controller and inverter. So part of being off grid or reducing your reliance on electric power is to try to go solar and wind power. So over the next few months we're going to be doing some solar projects on site here, and we're going to be also doing some wind energy experiments and unboxing. So today we're going to go through this kit. We're going to show you exactly what's included, and I'm going to give you some helpful hints and some thoughts on what this product is all about. So let's get going with the unboxing and let's have some fun. Okay, so we're going to pull this panel all the way out. Let's check this panel out. So in the back, see the wires. And on the back here, you can take the cardboard corners out. Then it's got a built-in stand. So basically what you do is you flip the stand out, and then that way the solar panel would be sitting like this, angled so that the sun is right over here shining on the panel. Now, something that I've learned about panels through my own experience and through doing some research, I have yet to come across a panel that will consistently power what it states. So when this states that it's a 120 watt panel, that would be what they would say would produce in absolute ideal conditions. So that means perfect sun, no clouds, the angle of the sun to this panel would just have to be absolutely perfect. Now in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an experiment. So not only are we going to use full sun on a perfect day, but I'm also going to be putting in extra UV lights from the sides in order to see if indeed we can get even anywhere near that 120 watts. So that'll be a cool experience that, experiment that we're going to be doing in the future. So, okay, so as far as the panel goes, both crystalline and monocrystalline panels, you can tell they'll either have a really dark blue or a flat black look to the panels themselves. So we've unboxed the first part of it. So here's the panel. We'll put this off to the side. And let's see what else kind of goodies we got in the box. What we're supposed to have is we're supposed to have a charge controller, and we're supposed to have an inverter. Sorry, I got it upside down. Charge controller and inverter. Might be easier taking it from this side of the box. So good job, Coleman. You guys packaged this up really well. Very happy with that. So we also have a little instruction manual that comes with it. And even there, they state, if you can see right here, it says up to 120 watts. So definitely don't count on getting 120 watts other than absolute ideal conditions. So what we have in here is an empty box. I guess that's maybe just a spacer, or okay. There's the inverter, and there's the charge controller. Okay, nothing else in that box. So let's just unpackage this. So here's their connections. I'll show you how this works. When you are hooking up solar, the first thing that you're going to have to hook up is you have to hook up a charge controller in between your solar panel and in between your battery. And there is a very, very good reason for this. So let's say you had a battery at full charge and you just directly wired this into a 12-volt battery. It would keep getting power to it on a continuous basis, and you could end up overcharging the battery, destroying the battery. Absolute worst case scenario, you could maybe even start a fire. I don't know. But you always have to have some way to prevent this power from continuously going in the battery if the battery is at full charge. So what you'll do is you hook up this charge controller, gets hooked up to your solar panel. Now what this charge controller does is it accepts power from the solar panel, and you see right there 14.2 volts is the cutoff. So basically what happens is if the battery power gets to 14.2 volts, this is basically a shutoff. It's just like turning a light switch off. So once this produces power, your battery hits 14.2 volts, it's just like a switch, and it'll turn off the battery. Turn off the solar panel so that you don't have any more power going into the battery. So, and cut in is 13 volts. And what it'll show right here is when it's charging the battery, little green light will come on. And when it's fully charged, another light will come on stating that it's fully charged. Now this is basically set for 8.5 amps maximum. And if you look at the box here, right on the box, it says 120 watts, 7 amps under ideal conditions. So, and this is an 8.5 amp charge controller. So it's perfectly good for this application. So how we would hook up this, you get the sun shining on the solar panel, the power going into the charge controller, and then the charge controller wired into your 12-volt battery. Now, from the 12-volt battery, you've got two choices. So either your 12-volt battery that you have hooked up to this whole system, you can either have cables coming out of it running something that's 12-volt, like lights or some 12-volt application fans. Or if you want to have AC electric, 120-volt AC electric, the 12 volts has to become 120 volts. So what we have here as part of the kit, we have a 300-watt inverter. So this will produce up to 300 watts of AC power. Now, to give you an idea, 300 watts, that'll run like very, very small appliances, like a very small blender, it won't produce enough power to hook up anything like a coffee maker or anything like that. It's just very, very light duty for 300 watts. So let's open this up and see what this inverter looks like. That's a good looking little inverter. So it's a modified sine wave inverter, 300 watts. So that's the maximum power that this thing will produce. So your cables from here to the charge controller, from the charge controller, cables, red for positive, black for negative, and that everything hooks into there. So what's going to happen is the power goes from here. The power will go through your charge controller, and it'll go into your 12-volt battery. From the 12-volt battery, you will use cables that will go from your 12-volt battery, red for positive, black for negative from your 12-volt battery, and it will produce AC electric. And you have a little on-off switch, and so you can plug in two different items to here. So you can charge cell phones, very, very small blender, like a very small, just light duty type appliances, plug in a couple lamps, just a bunch of little things that you can do with this. So fairly heavy, feels like nice and robust. Another thing I like to point out, nice to see on this inverter, they've got a little fan. You can see the fan blades inside of there. So that's to cool the inverter as it's producing electricity. And then here's all the rest of the cables, and it includes a cigarette lighter adapter, and it includes clips. So what I'll do, take everything out of the package and show you. So here you go. Cables. And there you go. You got a cigarette lighter adapter. So now, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm going to take a very, very quick look at these specifications, and then I'll let you know my thoughts on the specification list. So I'll see you in a minute. So I've gone through the instructions that Coleman has given, and I really like the way they've set out these two manuals, the one on the charge controller and the one on all the different instructions for the system. Well laid out, and the instructions make sense. They're easy to follow along with. They give you some helpful hints also. Another thing that I forgot to mention to you guys too, with the solar panel, you can also, if you're not wanting to run solar, and you can actually use this inverter that they've given you separately right from your car. So if you're basically going on a trip and you want to run some small items or a lamp or anything in your vehicle, you can hook up your cigarette lighter adapter right to the cigarette lighter or the 12-volt power source, and then you can hook the cables right into your inverter, and you can run power from your cigarette lighter right in your vehicle. But otherwise, running off of solar, it's solar panel, charge controller, then inverter, then you plug whatever else you need into it. I really like the way they've set out everything. They've packaged it good. Instructions are fantastic, and the product so far seems to look pretty good. So like and subscribe. Join me on my future solar videos where I'm going to show you how to do a full installation. We're going to do a full test to see how much light and UV rays that we can put into the solar panel. Let's see how much power we can actually get out of this full panel at absolute ideal conditions. And I'm going to go through a full course on solar and how electricity works, along with different types of batteries, etc. So join me on a future video for some more hints on solar. Appreciate you guys coming. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, everybody.